can't stress enough how much of a surprise this was to me, but it's Call of Duty Warzone, which if you told me a year and a bit ago that the only thing I'd be playing non-stop is a Battle Royale game, a Call of Duty Battle Royale game no less, I would have thrown you out my window or something, because it wasn't a genre that I vibe with at all. I tried and tried again, tried to play a PUBG, tried to play a H1Z1, tried to play Apex Legends, just couldn't get into any of them. But for some reason, Call of Duty Warzone clicked, and I think it's because it takes the immediacy of the Call of Duty, gunplay and stuff, and mixes it with a more active approach to Battle Royale. You've got your loadouts, which gives you custom weapons that you can call in. You've got self-revives, which keep you in the action. You've got the gulag, which gives you a 1v1 chance to revive yourself. So there are all these different ways that you can stay in the game, and just because you're dead doesn't mean that you're going to spend the next 10-15 minutes watching your mates play it. But it just has this loop to it where I feel like I'm always doing something different no matter where I am in the map. I played it for like hundreds of hours, but it's become this thing for me, my friends. Like before March 2020, I kind of stopped playing online games with my mates for whatever reason. We all just had social lives, so we found it difficult to find the time to get on. But then obviously overnight we had no social lives, and we were like, right, we need to find a way to keep in touch. And it's just been this lush way to keep in touch with people that I haven't seen now, in some cases for well over a year. And we go on it every single night. It's almost become a second job. We jump on it after work as soon as we're all finished. We play it for 2 hours, see if we can get a win, and then we'll jump off again. And I'm not gonna lie, it's led to some tense moments. We've had some proper arguments at times where things have got a bit heated, but that's part of the fun, in the fact that, at least me, I have socially regressed so much over this past year where I find it difficult to keep in touch with people. This has continued to act as this kind of like cornerstone thing where I get to, just speak to my friends in a situation that isn't stressful, because I find anyway, a lot of Zoom calls sometimes can be a little bit stressful or a little bit tasking, but if you're just kind of solely focused on something, I find it, just really rewarding. And to be honest, I've gone first in this Chatty Faces, and it's going to be like, 20 minutes until you guys finish recording, and I might actually just slip out now and nobody would notice. Nobody would even realize.
You do, Josh Brown. If the nerve takes you, you give in.
All I'm saying is, I'm going for a sneaky trios. Nobody tell anyone.
Oh my God, I can't believe this. This is where we're all implicated. We're all culpable now.
I know. The thing is, this is going to be edited, so it would have been totally fine.
I'm going to buy your silence, and I'm going.
I thought you left. You were terrifying.
What are you going to do? What do you do?
Well, as the Battle Royale turner here, I'd say I would have gone with PUBG. The game that got me through lockdown, the better Battle Royale. Call of Duty is some sort of like little copycat. Josh is going to go and waste his time on that now. And then I thought, should I do Game Pass? Because I've just lived on that forever, but I think my checks have run out from that. So what I'm going to do? I'm just going to, this is a special thing for the games I've platinumed out throughout that year. The games where I just sat there until midnight and not thinking about the world and, just playing a game. Like, I need to just find this last fox and Ghost of Tsushima.
There's 30 more headshots and then you can finally be free.
Yeah, so just like go back to things like Alien Isolation and being scared in that, then scared in real life and hiding from a xenomorph for the next 12 hours. Going back and seeing Horizon Zero Dawn again and fighting some, robot. I was gonna say robot zombies then, they're robot dinosaurs. And just and then Astrobot's Playroom, just going around and remembering, I'm old and there's a lot of PlayStation products at this time. Remember the iToy? You all should have played the iToy at one point. I never played it in Blockbuster. Then it's Resident Evil 6. Why did I go back and platinum that? Because I couldn't go outside. And because it was in the back of my brain and I wanted to punish myself, and I did it, and I wouldn't recommend doing it. And I also wouldn't recommend doing God of War, even though it's a great game. But the Valkyrie Queen can just don't do one. She can do one because, by God, I didn't realize that there was a secret Souls boss in that game. And then when I found out, I was like, what have I done? But put too much time into it now to go through there. So yeah, that's kind of like my quick rundown, And then fighting Marguerite from Resident Evil 7 on Extreme Madhouse. Don't do it. It's hard, very hard, and the spiders and what she unleashes them from are just terrifying.
How many platinums have you got now?
47.
Sweet Lord, I've got 2. So for my thing, it's not a specific old game. It's just more like I don't know. I mean, obviously the lockdown sort of comprised all of like 2020, and then that was before the new consoles came out. So it's not like basically I've had this big pull towards older games. So I've just gone back to just anything from the backwards compatible library on Xbox. So all the way back to the original Xbox. I'm talking Brothers in Arms: Hell's Highway, one of the finest military shooters you can find. Yes, Ewan.
Yes.
A bit of SSX 3. I'm talking the original Splinter Cell trilogy with Chaos Theory. All those games look so much better with the HDR, the frame rate enhancements, all the fancy stuff that's on the Series X. But also, I've been playing a little bit of Ape Escape 2 on the PS5, and then getting Ape Escape on the Vita, because I'm one of the 6 people with a Vita, and someone's got to keep it alive. So a little bit of the Vita, and then a little bit of Dark Cloud as well, just sort of revisiting Dark Cloud, very nice game. And then the older Grand Theft Autos, GTA 3, GTA San Andreas. So for me, it's just everything that I clearly didn't need to go back to, but I could just get lost in. And it's that really weird sort of, nostalgia blanket. Like, I remember when life was easier, when in the before times, when I get the full game, there's no microtransactions.
You absolutely deserve to go back to Hell's Highway though, because like Brothers in Arms, Hell's Highway, that is the best military game ever. It's like, if you love Band of Brothers, it's like that the game, and with added tactical immersion.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was Band of Brothers, the game, and it wasn't until about halfway through when I realized, no, they're different names. That's a different thing altogether.
I mean, a brother, they're both brothers. They're both brother.
They're both brothers, and it opens with a really like sort of belabored cutscene. There's lots of emotional feels in Brothers in Arms: Hell's Highway, but in terms of the way that it plays and everything, yes, would totally recommend, especially right now because nothing else is like it. But yeah, old school stuff, nostalgia blanket, back in the day. Give me that 4K 60 HDR. I'm loving it. Not for 500 quid. Don't do that. But I did it, and it was good. So, Ape Escape 2.
Like Josh, I have been using these games as a means of keeping up with my friends that I have not been able to see over the past year, which has meant that I've neglected a lot of single-player games. I'm literally like, I don't know whether it's because my attention span has been ruined by lockdown, that I can't focus on a single-player game for long enough to actually keep it going. But I think it's because whenever I log on to the PlayStation now, instantly, I always used to play with my mates before, obviously. But I feel as though now there's an added importance and catharsis to it, that you get to actually, hang out with your friends in some way, in a way that, like Josh said, isn't just Zoom calls. So me and my mate were like, you know what? Overwatch was a good time. That brief period in 2016 where it was like absolutely smashed Overwatch for 2 months. Why don't we just do that again? And I remembered the reason why I enjoy that game so much, and it genuinely has awakened a massive addiction in me now. I'm Overwatch mad again. I'm now looking up guides on YouTube, how to be the best Reinhardt you can be. But I've gotten really good with Moira. I've gotten really good with Brian. I've gotten really good with D.Va and Zarya and all that. And you know what? It's just a great time. I'm loving when that game works. Nothing comes close to it in terms of an actual gratifying, team-oriented game. You need everyone in a team to be firing on all cylinders for that game to work, and when it does, it's the best thing ever. Even when I lose in Overwatch, it doesn't feel too bad, because it's like, well, we did what we could. Just gotta hold your hands at the end of the day, and just some people spend more time on Overwatch than you do, and that is totally fine. I've made my peace with it, and I'm so excited for the sequel as well.
I do have a question for you, Ewan. Do you still think Winston is good?
Winston is really good, mate. If you've got a really annoying Genji or a Winston on you, a Genji or a Lucio, you can use Winston in. Don't have to aim, and you'll be sorted. If you get targeted by more than one person, yeah, maybe he's a little bit bad because D.Va and Reaper will mess him up. But Winston, if you know how to use him and you have a competent healer, it's a good pick.
More like Winston.
Exactly.
Hey?
The wins, a ton of wins.
The wins of change.
That was
painful.
Yeah.
Well, that was almost physically painful.
No, it worked. It did.
So there was a couple of obviously like multiplayer stuff that you play with your friends. Played a lot of Among Us, and also a bit of all things, Worms Golf. Played that with my cousin quite a lot.
Is that even a thing?
It certainly is. I don't know how he did it. He had to do it through some like weird connection, but single player. I got really hard back into Stardew Valley, which I hadn't played in years, but it was a pretty stressful year. Like, aside from the fact that we couldn't go outside, most people would think like, oh, maybe it wasn't so stressful in the scale of things. You did a lot of sitting around, but somehow I'd get to the end of the day, and be like, God, I just need something relaxing. So there was nothing better. I was working my dissertation at the time, and I'd do like 10 hours of that. I'd get to the end of the day, just turn everything off and be like, Stardew Valley time. And there's nothing more relaxing. Hundreds. A shameful amount of hours on just Stardew Valley, which is just the most simple game in the world. But the vibe is just untoppable to me. It has this calming aura that works so well. If you've had like a bad day, there's nothing more soothing than doing a little bit of farming, getting your crops, get a little horse, and nothing beats it, in my opinion.
Just make a whole bunch of different jams. Just chill. It's the
I'm
best.
all over the jams, all over the wines. I am almost a billionaire. I like to think I'm the Jeff Bezos of the Stardew Valley world, but with more hair and less inner evil.
Have you named your cat/dog? I forget which one you have.
Yes, my cat is called Noodles.
Fantastic.
I imagine it's probably because I was having some noodles at the time, but in retrospect, it's just a very cute name.
Stardew, though, I mean, the average playtime on that must be 1,000 hours. Like, anyone who hasn't played it for weeks on end once they get going.
No, as soon as you like introduce someone to it as well, they're like, oh, I don't really get it. It's just like Farmville or something, isn't it, from years ago? And then they get it.
Mr. James Dowse, have you played Stardew Valley?
Yes, and Farmville.
He loves it.
Yeah,
Which was better.
that was a Facebook game of 2009.
What a time.
Yeah. So, as with a lot of Switch players, lockdown began with Animal Crossing. That's what everybody played for a month until they got bored of it and realised that it was kind of not that good because the content
Speak the truth,
wasn't
my
there.
friend. I'm with you.
It was poorly carried on throughout of its lifetime. But the game that I would say took over 6 months of mine and my girlfriend's life was 51 Worldwide Games Classics. That one which is on the Switch, where you can play chess and Ludo.
You can play
and
Mancala.
Mate, you've already reached my punchline where I got that for Christmas. That's how much I'm Mancala board, because that's how much I played it. I aged literally 50 years whilst playing that game, and I'm now in my mid-80s playing Mancala every evening.
It's good, isn't it? I mean, it is one of the best things you can play.
It is a very good game, and being able to play it with somebody who doesn't own the game, and then they can use it on their Switch whilst I've got my card, and we can share the game amongst like 3 or 4 people with only one person having to own the game. That's genius. So I like to play that. But the game that I would say would be my favourite of the entire lockdown has to be Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered. Absolutely stunning game. I've sunk about 150 hours into that since it came out in September. I can't stop playing it. It's just my go-to game after work, something when I'm bored. I just turn it on.
When we're back in person, we're totally doing a horse tournament.
Oh, I would love that. I've not even touched the multiplayer side of it. I'll just keep doing the single player every single day. It's just it's one of those therapeutic games where you just see how many points you can get.
I do have a question for the remaining people in this chat. What is the best song from the Tony Hawk soundtrack?
I mean, annoyingly, it has to be
I was
Superman.
literally about to bring that up. I was about to say the soundtrack.
It has to be Superman. But, it has to be Superman.
Is it that, or is it Guerrilla Radio? Or am I just saying that because it's the opening of Tony Hawk's 2?
See, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 had Ace of Spades by Motorhead. So.
It did a bit. But I'm a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 man. I think, that's like a dividing line. And I know that the youth like 3. Oh, you're younger and all that. But 2's better. Or I'm just saying. Putting it down.
I don't know
like
which
it's too
songs
hard
are
to
on
pick
there.
one track.
All of them better, right?
Sorry, I think it's too hard to pick one track, especially because off the top of my head, I'm like, I can't think of them. But then I've had this conversation lately where we were going through a bunch of old songs. We were like, oh, and that's from Tony Hawk. Yeah, that was on Tony Hawk as well. And there's just so many bangers.
I discovered Machine Gun Kelly from Tony Hawk's, and that's not even on the original one. That was just something new that they put on.
Every ska song ever is in Tony Hawk's 1 and 2.
If you got a trumpet, you're on the Tony Hawk soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah. But great games. Really recommend them if nobody's picked them up.